figured out that somebody messed up the thing. This is why I was telling somebody last week. I said, yo, I already told Mike. I told somebody this at the birthday party. I was like, yo, me and Mike, our next spot is just gonna be us. Cause I can't stand these niggas. All right, here we go, y'all.
Situation, and I think that I'm not high function.
What situation?
Okay, so I'm not married. I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
By how many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more.
By multiple women? What's the intent?
I just want God
by
to
your
bring
wife?
her. I just want God to bring her.
Oh, okay.
My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. So, as you had said, Dr. Brian, you said it, I didn't say it, I will agree. I'm just taking my time.
Babies. But you are proactively choosing where you want to be active at and where you want to take your time. Mm-hmm. You want to take your time in having a wife because of your own fears. But you will, and I say this with all respect and love, what I'm about to say next, okay, Cam? But you will selfishly create broken families, even if you're in their life and you're a proactive father, and I believe you're an amazing daddy. I can only imagine with just your presence and knowing you. But these families are still broken. Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all, will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there. Mm-hmm. Now, you chose to do that. I'm not saying you sat there and woke up one morning and said, I want to be selfish today, so I'm going to go make a baby. Not saying that at all. But those are selfish acts at the expense of your fear. And yeah, that is a low functioning behavior. To say that I'm going to build these houses and put kids and these beautiful women and kids in them, but I ain't going to create a home and them babies. But you
for those who do not know, Cam Newton, who has a great looking podcast, by the way, I have to state that. But he sat down with who was that? Dr. Brown?
I don't know. She wanted Real Housewives, right?
No, I think she's actually a doctor. Do they put Real House like?
I think one of the Real Housewives lady is an actual doctor.
Oh, okay, then.
But that's on Cam's Newton podcast.
Yeah. What happened when you saw this?
Well, first question is, I was wondering, did he know that question was coming, or was it? I mean, would you consider that an ambush?
Nah, because he set up the question.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why. You know what you're gonna ask, and I do believe Cam and Shannon Sharp do this amazing job of just being horny throughout their pod. And some days, it reminds me of when Charlamagne used to be weird and over sexual on the podcast and he'd be funny. And then somebody come in there and let him know, like, yo, you weird.
Yeah.
And then so you got to deal with the 10% or the 30% of people that come in and be like, yo, let me check you on this.
Yeah. You're right. So, I mean, on this podcast, right? The first thing that probably the biggest mantra that I have in here is stop having babies out of wedlock. I think it's the biggest detriment to our community.
The mantra that we get cussed out for all the time.
Yeah, anybody listen to this pod, if you've listened to more than 4 episodes, you've heard that,
absolutely,
that on this pod. So when I look at Cam Newton's and what's Nick Cannon, guys like that, right? Mm-hmm. We never look at these guys as being sexually responsible men, right?
Absolutely.
But they're extremely wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where it's sort of get an excuse. I think she was nailed all over the head. Maybe people will hear it more since it's a woman telling the man. I've seen the whole discourse of, yes, thank you for showing that men create broken homes, yada yada yada. Look, there's a role to be paid that's played by both sides. I only talk to the men on this pod, and I only make sure that I tell the top third of men the only thing that's going to destroy your life faster than divorce is an out of wedlock baby. Like, period. There's nothing that's going to do it faster. So if you want to ruin your life,
go ahead,
have a kid out of wedlock. So she's all over when she's like, yo, you're creating a broken home and there's a deficit. I mean, I started the pod off basically talking about a deficit, right? Like the regrets that I have, the chapter that's in, and the things that I'm experiencing. And I'm experiencing this as a active father that does have custody, that lives up the street from his son, that sees him on the weeks that and it's like, yo, there's still a guilt, right? So when I see men that make a ton of kids, I don't really look at them and say, yo, that's the kind of man that I want to hang out with, because why don't you feel that you're not doing enough when you've created a broken home?
I saw it. Well, first of all, people started sending it to me. And I always pay attention to the people that don't send it to me. And I'm not even talking about the women. I'm talking about the dudes, especially some of the dudes that have been critical of this podcast, who I've said this to.
Yep.
Who maybe you put it on your story, but you ain't sent it to me. Because when, let me put it like this. When Future do something stupid, I get texts.
Yeah.
Right? When Russell Wilson do something amazing, I get texts.
Oh gosh, if he pours a bowl of cereal for Future Junior, it's just he's the greatest stepdad in the world.
Greatest stepdad in the world, right? When Cam Newton does something ignorant, I get texts. So, but when this one, and me and Mike had a ball this weekend. Boosie, we heard your Eminem take. Sound very familiar.
Very familiar.
Very.
Hey, at least it went to the right audience because his comments are good.
I want to figure out how we get your audience, Boosie, because they respected what you said.
Yeah.
But it sounded very familiar. So when I heard this immediately, the person who sent it to me, I was like, you know, me and Mike say this all the time.
All the time.
You do understand there's a group of people who I no longer hang out with because of this take exactly from this woman. And I see them liking it, and I see their names under it, and I see them commenting. And I'm like, damn, when I said this to you 3 years ago, I was kicked out the group chat. Woo. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it was just hilarious. When I see dudes now, you know, one of these niggas out here, he liked our picture of a hat and was like, oh my God, it's amazing. And I looked at it and I was ignore. Why? Because I told him this exact thing she told him. But now it's like, oh my goodness, you want men to get married and then have kids? Well, we've only been saying that for 3 years. Before I had a kid, Mike was saying this.
Yeah.
That's just how crazy this is. But I got a possible simp post of the week. Dun dun dun. Uh-oh. I don't have a do we got any? Hold on.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
Shout out to Javarius Smith. The first name told me everything I needed to know, my brother.
Oh man, don't do it like that.
She told Cam the truth. I felt this in my soul because it was so relatable. I'm 25 years old with 3 kids by 3 different women. I selfishly created 3 broken homes, although my kids are well taken care of. I love when people do that. It's like when the crackheads stop doing crack and they be like, I take care of my kids now. And it's like, well, they 40.
Yeah. Come on, man.
But it's cool. They are well taken care of. They will never have the luxury, of mom and dad, siblings, all of under the same roof. If I could turn back the hands of time, I would have waited to procreate with my wife. Situations like mine does come dysfunctional. There's no other way.
Well, he's telling the truth right there.
Oh yeah, he's telling the truth throughout all this. It's just I'm gonna tell you why I got this. It's 3 places. I can't be in the 3 places at once, physically or emotionally. I feel short. I don't know why you put that, but you live and you learn. Anybody disagreeing with her is just simply lost. We have to change the narrative. We need more husbands than baby daddies. Let's get it together, black men. Brown heart emoji.
I see why you made this simp post of the week. You know, any place that men get to dunk on black men, they just run to, especially black men. They get an opportunity to dunk on other black men. Like I had just saw a post online where the dude was like, you know, black men, why y'all questioning Kamala and all this other shit?
Oh, we gonna get there.
And I'm just like, dude, like,
you can't question nobody.
Black men will be the second largest voting bloc for Kamala, right? This is not a black male problem thing, right? Like, chill out, man.
Bro. Is this a simp post of the week? Was he pandering? Yes.
Absolutely, he's pandering.
Did he leave with his wallet? No.
Yeah.
He probably can't. He has 3 homes plus his own that he got to take care of. So I don't think he got enough money there. But he definitely dunked on black men. So I am going to nominate this simp post of the week. My favorite part about this is this young brother who wrote this.
Well, and it's always guys with multiple baby mamas that are having babies with other women, right? Like Cam has what, 2 baby mamas, or is it 3? 3. Yeah, 3 baby mamas. Nick Cannon has 4 baby mamas.
He only got 4.
Might be more.
He got to be more.
Might be more. Future has 4 or 5, right?
Future got 8.
That's insane. And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it goes back to the point of when men hesitate to date women that are single mothers. It's not because you had a baby by a rich dude. We actually would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Right. But it is because, like, typically you had a baby with what is it? Ladarius?
Jacharius
or whatever, right? Like that's the problem, right? You've had a baby with Lacharius, and and he has 2 other baby mamas, and it's like, and you're baby mama number 3, and it's like, I'm good. I don't know what your decision tree matrix look like. I'm sorry. Give me some time. Let me get to know you.
My favorite part is he got 25,000 likes,
insane,
24,000 shares. I love how the bottom third of black men get to represent the top third.
Yeah, because if you pander and if you dunk on the top third, right? Because the top third is gonna take some work to mess with those guys. If you pander, it's like, oh well, yeah, slow clap. You told them Lacharius, and it's like
I look at it and I say, who gets to represent? Who is the bottom third here? It ain't Javarius, Latarius, whatever his name. It's him and Cam.
Dude, you beat me to it because I was just about to say it is athletes and entertainers, right? This is why Malcolm X said what he said. This is why it infuriates me when we have a conversation that athletes and entertainers are not the intellectuals of the black community. They're not the thought leaders of the black community. And here's the thing. There's a reason why they're willing to pay a premium on these men instead of paying a premium on men that actually want better behavior for the community.
Absolutely.
And that's what they do with athletes and entertainers. They make sure that they are well compensated. I have a good mind to discuss the life of Marcus Garvey, W.D. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, and who's our other guy from that era? I am missing the name. But if you go through the finances and how these men lived and who had the most money, the guy that had the most money was the guy that pandered the most. The men that stood up on principles and was saying that, hey, this is what we need to do for the community, they all pretty much almost died broke.
Yeah.
But the dude that they put forward, right? If you go back and you read the readings of W.D. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, and them interacting and how they felt towards Booker T. Washington, I know this is making some of y'all uncomfortable right now. They intellectually would say, I disagree with him vehemently, right?
Yeah.
But who got paid out of that group?
Well, we're going to get there.
All right. That's all I'm saying. Like he's not a bottom third man, right? But he was misguided, right? He was.
Yeah, well, I just laughed at this. I said, yo, we got Cam Newton making multiple homes. Cam get a lot of fuck shit off, but it's cool.
Well, he's rich, right?
And that's why it's cool. Because when you rich, you can afford to do more fuck shit than most people.
Yes, and they're going to allow you to make way more mistakes. Like Cam has said what he said. Everybody knows that he's creating broken home. And there's a chick right now that is like ovulation punani ready. Like, here you go, Cam. Number 4 is on deck.
One of my favorite, I don't even know if I should say that. One of my favorite stories is when I saw Cam walk up to, what's my sister name? Ashley from Fresh Prince. You remember Ashley from Fresh Prince?
Yeah. Tatyana. Yeah, Tatyana.
Yes, Tatyana. That was the quickest curve I ever seen in my life.
She curved him?
Oh, quick. Mike, quick. She curved him and Lance Gross in the same night. I watched it. It was at CIAA. She was sitting at the table by herself. Legs crossed. They both walked up to her, and it was
she was by herself?
Just chilling. And
that was like my childhood crush.
Oh, you would have been able to talk to her that night because she wasn't in like the super VIP. Oh, and that was their approach. Yo, you want to come over? I'm fine. Wow. Oh, what's up? What's going on? Aren't you? I'm good. Too quick. And I thought Lance Gross was going to get her. Gross. Or whatever you want to call it. I knew all the girls was back there just drooling. And when he walked over, I said, oh, he got her. You know what I'm saying? Curved. But then what we find out, I'm a Harvard graduate. I'm super intelligent. I'm not going with, I know who you are. And, it was just amazing. But I just laugh because I'm like, the big community now has been, the big thing now is people, I love when Elon last week was like, oh, smaller accounts are now complaining that their content is never seen. It's like, duh, y'all have to push the stupid shit and the people that are rich. Like, that is y'all thing now. Did you see this bus driver fight this little boy he wasn't even a little boy. He was a grown man.
No, I don't think I saw that one. I've seen a bus driver beat the brakes off of somebody on the bus. We might have saw the same thing.
The dude had a tank top. He had a tank top on.
I don't
but
think
the bus driver, he asked everybody to go to the back. If you haven't seen it, look up bus driver. The bus driver got arrested. Apparently, the boy is going to get arrested.
Why they arrest the bus driver?
Well, you can't beat up.
Well, I guess you can't fight when you
can't
carrying people around.
Nah. You can't do that. But I did love the bus driver. So the boy was up there. He crossed the little line on the bus. The bus driver told him to back up. He then instructed everybody on the bus to back up. And the boy stood still there. And the boy said, if you don't get out of my face, I'm going to spit on you.
Did he stop the bus?
Oh, yeah. The bus was stopped.
Okay.
Complete stop. And he said, if you spit on me, it's going to be over. And the boy did not move. And when I say boy, he's like in his young 20s. But everything, I do believe these, if you under 24, half of y'all stupid just like the 16-year-olds. Like, not even half of y'all.
Yeah, I mean, testosterone is still super high in your low 20s.
There are certain jobs that men who are trying to turn their life around take.
Yeah.
Bus drivers is high on that list.
Bus drivers high on that list.
Fast food workers.
Late night drive through. Yeah, don't try it.
Don't try them.
Don't try
Waffle House.
Waffle House, obviously.
Janitors at the high schools. They definitely.
Janitors anywhere, especially if they're old janitors.
Yeah. They done been through. They lived through the crack era. They went to jail already.
Yeah, yeah. Like, leave those people alone for sure.
And so the first thing I did was I had Mike's favorite saying came in when I watched the video. Oh, by the way, the little boy he had to spit on the old man. The boy didn't get not one swing in. That's how quick he had him down. People was trying to get on the bus, and it was a black woman. She had to be black. She was in the back saying, please, y'all get him off of him. And nobody did nothing. And they were starting to tell people, don't even try to get on this bus. It's over.
Yeah.
Like from one angle, like he was choking him. From the other angle, you saw his hand was just like punching his boy face in.
If you spit on somebody, you should expect that you're about to fight.
Oh,
you should really expect that you're about to fight.
Hope that you live.
Yeah.
But it did get me to this question, the black dad's question of the day. Mm-hmm. Would you rather deal with a man who grew up having no father or a poor representation of a father?
That is a difficult question, man.
And the reason why I got this because I thought about you when I watched this video and I said, where is this boy dad at? Because my dad taught me, you don't mess with older men. Yeah,
I would say no dad, because no dad, you have no guidance until you really run into like a real dude. And now it's a real consequence, right? It's a real problem, right? Because, men who are working and taking care of their families, that may have had friends that did crazy stuff, but they had made the determination themselves not to do it.
Yeah,
they know what it takes to de-escalate, from an idiot. And sometimes what it takes to de-escalate is too much, right? So they typically don't want to be in that situation. So I don't know. I would say no dad, because that guy has no clue what it takes to de-escalate, right? Sometimes if you're dealing with a man that had a bad representation of a dad, he'll recognize, all right, it's getting to that limit.
Yeah, let
me chill. But like no dad, they do what they seen their mamas do, right?
Yeah,
run up on, yell, escalate higher and higher. And so I don't know. I'd probably say like with a bad representation, because I think if you have a poor representation, at least you could say, well, I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
you got that. You at least have the example of, all right, you got all the questions wrong. It was an A/B choice. You got everything wrong, right? Well, you can get everything right by just doing the opposite. So I would say poor represented dad.
I might take the no dad at all, maybe because you just hoping they have a blank sheet, and maybe they're willing to say, "Yo, I'll give you an example. One of my homeboys, he pledged when he got into college, and I asked him why. Just why? Like, what was your main reason? And he said, I never had a good relationship with men, and I needed to be around men to learn about men.
Solid.
And I said, I respect that. And he said, that's why I joined. And so me and him had that conversation, and it was just like, damn, I get it. Sometimes people start. The flip side is my dad, my father grew up with an inconsistent father, right?
Yeah.
And he did exactly what Mike said. All right, I'm going to just do the opposite on the test. I also know some people who dad was inconsistent, and they just they think that shit is cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know some girls who dad was inconsistent. They think like, yo, my dad he was a fly ass dad. And it's like, yo, your dad wasn't like.
Yeah, I mean, so it's parenting is tough, man, because like even if you have an inconsistent dad, or if you have a dad that's like not there because he's working, typically you have a mother that reinforces what the father should do, right? So it is part dads when they're inconsistent or unavailable, but typically like your mama do something along the lines of when I talk to your dad, right?
Yeah.
And so you know that the discipline and the decision is coming from your father, even if you don't see him, even if he doesn't stay with you, if he's in the military, if he drives trucks. Typically a good mother reinforces this is what you're going to deal with the father. So, I would say that's what I'm saying. Like, I think no representation is kind of worse because there is no consequence for your actions. And when you run into that consequence in the real world, it's typically at the highest level, right?
Facts.
Like, Facts. You haven't been, you ain't been warmed up to it.